everyone. This is AndyMan404, host of the Arbitrary Game Jam 10. This is the 10th in a monthly series of game jams for indie devs, where each month is hosted by the winner of the previous month. The themes in this month's jam are broccoli, flawed, and sacrifice. I'll be doing a video playthrough of each game and look at the game jam story behind each game, if possible. The next game is called I Wish I Had Not Played This Game by Galajade, a writer. After you play it, you'll hopefully understand why it is called that, and not in a bad or literal way at all, but in a deep, profound, soul-changing way. You'll see. It is a pure text experience made using Twine, an open-source tool for telling interactive non-linear stories. This game happens to be linear for the most part, though. You can make decisions, but only the ending epilogue changes, I think. But be warned, it may change you as a result. Now, as a side note, since I am the host and I get to rant, I find it sad that Twine game entries are commonly overlooked at game jams. Some of them are really good. People just have too little patience for them, I think. But if you take the time to sit down and enjoy them, you'll discover some real gems that may give you a much more memorable experience than yet another 1-minute casual game that might not make it to your memory in the next day. I found this next game to be both memorable and emotional. It is an interactive fiction about regrets. Let's play. I'll have the computer read in a posh British voice.
I am the CEO of a very powerful company. Each time I blink, I earn millions. I give tons of money to charity, but I am still wealthier than I could possibly imagine. My wife is a 20-year-old model. I have beautiful cars, a magnificent house, a dream beach house, several cute lovers. I can go to marvelous places, restaurants, bars, nightclubs. Wherever I go, I am always treated like a king.
All right, I'm liking it. I will win in the end. I have everything, right? Let's see. Okay, flashback time.
At first, I was nothing. My parents were immigrants living in a crammed building and barely spoke English. I was ashamed of being poor. When people ask me what my parents were doing for a living, I always change the subject. A plumber and a cashier. Who would be proud to say that? I was ashamed to wear ugly and second-hand clothes. And I was so angry I could not play with all the toys I wanted. My parents wanted me to be rich, to have a decent job, to have a better life than theirs. They made so much sacrifices. They said that in this country, everything was possible. If I did the best I could, I would build my own destiny and become wealthy. Important.
All right, most immigrant kids to America know this. Your parents want you to have that American dream, where if you just study hard, you work hard, you can make it. And a lot of parents, especially my parents, they sacrifice a lot for their kids. And the parents might not have good jobs. They might not have educations, but they want everything for their kids. So they set their kids up with this dream. Okay, I will win in the end.
Thanks to my parents and my grades, I went to a decent university. After that, I could not be able to find any decent job at all, even if my grades were great, even if I knew I could be the best at what I was doing. I just did not know anyone who could endorse me, so I started with little shitty jobs. Waiter, cashier,
It's
like my mom,
3:45.
cleaner, whatsoever. I worked like that for 2 years. I kept sending resumes and letters to companies for jobs that would completely fit my profile. The answer was always the same. I did not have enough experience. My university was good but not that good. Well, not famous enough. How could I gain experience if no one wanted to hire me? I decided to lie on my resume. I quickly got a job interview and was hired in a big company.
Wow. except for the lying on the resume part, I think a lot of young people graduating from universities and colleges now are experiencing exactly this. Um, Sometimes the job market is just not big enough. Even if you did super in school, you might not get what you're looking for. If I decided to lie on my resume, I would have wished I had been honest. I think that is very important.
My job was awful. Everyone treated me like shit. Because I was the newbie, there were no truthful people, only people forced, or happy to be sleazy employees, struggling to survive in this civilized jungle. My boss was the worst. He was a real douchebag and a psychopath. He had no talent, no common sense, no coherence. Everything was just about his gigantic ego and his will to crush people. Maybe he was so full of shit he could only throw shit at people's faces. Yes, I hated him. I was his punching bag.
Ouch. I don't know how many of you know what it feels like to be in exactly that position. Um, I wasn't in that position ever. All my bosses were great, really. But I know people who have been in that position, or you have a coworker who is just crummy, but they're being promoted, and it just doesn't feel right. And then at the end of the day, it just hurts you. Um, I would have, I don't know. I'll win in the end.
I slowly gained my peers' confidence. It was hard, but I was very good at my job and people began to notice that. My tasks were stupid, but I found ways to improve them. Even my boss acknowledged that. Once, he gave me a break. I could go home earlier. Once. It was a nice feeling, having some recognition, some smiles around me, no more mocking laughs.
Yay. Okay, it's nice to be recognized, but is that what I really need? Or is there something else I really need? I wish that would not be the path I go on, just seeking recognition after recognition, um, for working for crazy hours under a cruel boss.
One of my colleagues, Tom, became a good friend of mine. He was the nicest guy you could find. Not a fake and sleazy guy, but a real, nice person. Everyone abused his kindness and bossed him around, but he never complained. He was just happy to help, hoping that one day, the good fortune will favor him. I felt pity for him. I could not help but thought he was a bit dumb. One day, he asked for some holidays. His brother was sick and he wanted to help him. My boss refused. Suddenly, Tom became furious. It was the first time he ever asked for vacation. He shouted at my boss. No one had ever done that before. The next day, Tom was fired. I got promoted to his job.
Well, you go, Tom. Sticking it to the man and standing up for your one day of vacation. But that's what it's like for, I think, a lot of people, especially here in the U.S., where vacation is very limited. Um, Many people have vacation, but they don't take it. And they'll eventually burn out or become ticking time bombs. I know that feeling. And I wish I stood up for Tom.
I quickly rose to the top. I had the greatest pleasure to be the boss of my former boss and fire him. My parents were very proud of me. My sister, well, she could not stand my nice car, my nice suit, my nice salary. Once, she said I was making a fool of myself, showing off all my money like that. I replied she was just a useless idiot who was jealous of me, because she was good at nothing and sponged off her husband. She slapped me. She got pregnant when she was 17 and never got a chance to go to college.
That is really unfortunate for the sister. And I can see why she might be envious. Um, it's just the different choices we make, different regrets we have. Um, if I was in this guy's shoes, I would wish I had been kind to her. Okay, the computer voice is getting kind of messed up. I'll just continue with my reading. I met a woman. It was not a love at first sight. It was stronger than that. The more I knew her, the more I wanted to be with her. She had the most enchanting laugh, and she was so witty. We got married and moved together after 1 year. At my job, things got pretty intense. We were expanding, and I had a chance to rise even more in my company. I worked harder and harder. Extra hours became regular hours. People at my job were really happy with me. My wife was not. I was always good at making fake promises. I always asked her to wait for me, to wait until the day I would finally have some time for her. But she was no fool. Still, she waited for 2 years. 2 years of tears, screams, disappointment. She finally divorced. I was not there when she left our flat for good. I was at my job. I could not even remember the last time I saw her. Man, I wish I had respected her. All I had was my job. It was the only thing that made me feel alive. At this point, I would have died if I had been fired. Working that hard was really exhausting. I needed to delegate, but I was never satisfied with what my employers were doing. I was a control freak. I treated them like shit. They could not learn anything, were scared and screwed again. At some point, I was convinced that I was doing the right thing. Being humiliated, destroyed every day. This is how you learn, right? The beauty of the natural selection. Only the worthy ones will survive, right? Wow, this guy ended up just like his boss. I wish I had been someone I could be proud of. I am the king of my company. I have the world in my hand, my pride in my other hand, and a cute model in my arm. She is a nice distraction. There is nothing that is out of my reach. People admire me a lot and always look for my company. I am a living dream and inspire them. As I started from nothing and have become everything, everyone wants to do the same. Well, it seems like I have one, but have I? Don't have anybody I can trust. I am in a nice room with great windows, soft curtains. The sun is shining high. A warm breeze is making me smile. I am dying alone. Okay. Maybe this game isn't what I wished for. This game of life. This rat race. When the game is flawed, there is nothing to win in the end. If you do not want to sacrifice your honesty, self-confidence, moral, family, love, self-respect, trust, life, then play another game. Alright, it may surprise you to find that the author's native tongue is not English. But anyway, Galahad's lessons learned are when a jam is longer, you have to be careful with the deadline. It is hard not to procrastinate. And second, is this really a game? I don't know. Well, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed. I wish I had not played this game.